the morning studio lights glimmered like 1,000 tiny stars, reflecting off the polished floors of the Live with Kelly and Mark set. The cameras were rolling, the teleprompter scrolled silently, and the audience buzzed with the kind of energy reserved for something special. But behind the flawless smiles, there was a tension no one could see. Behind the laughter and the quick-witted banter, Mark Consuelos carried a weight that even the brightest spotlight couldn't lift. It had begun a week earlier, in the quiet of their New York apartment. Kelly Ripa, radiant as ever, but with a certain fatigue beneath her eyes, had noticed Mark pacing restlessly by the window. The city outside moved in its usual relentless rhythm, taxis honking, steam rising from manholes, life moving as if nothing could stop it. But inside, time had shifted, slowed, condensed, and Kelly felt it almost immediately. "Mark, what's wrong?" she asked, her voice soft but steady. She had learned over decades in the spotlight that her husband's smiles often masked something deeper. Mark turned, his eyes glistening with something fragile and unspoken. His usual bravado, the teasing humor that had made him a star in soap operas and late-night interviews, was gone. In its place was a vulnerability that threatened to shatter the woman who loved him most. I need to tell you something," he said. His hands fidgeted, the way they always did when he was nervous. "Something serious." Kelly's heart sank. She knew him, really knew him, and this wasn't just the nervousness before a meeting or a live segment. This was something heavier, more profound. As he spoke, the words came out like pieces of glass. A health diagnosis he had kept private, something he didn't want the public to know, something that would change everything. The world knew Mark Consuelos as the charming actor, the energetic co-host, the loving husband. But now, Kelly saw him as fragile, human, vulnerable. Over the next few days, they moved in a haze of hospital visits, specialist consultations, and whispered late-night conversations. The bright apartment felt suffocating, every corner echoing with the uncertainty of what lay ahead. Kelly tried to be strong, tried to keep her composure for Mark, for their children, for the millions who loved them on screen. But she felt it, deep in her chest, a terror she couldn't name. And then came the wish. It wasn't grand or extravagant. It wasn't something that could be written in headlines or broadcast on the evening news. It was simple, human, heart-wrenching in its intimacy. I want to do one last show together, one final time," Mark said quietly, his hand brushing hers on the couch. "I want to come in, sit with you, laugh, joke, do what we do. One last episode where it's just us and the audience. But I want it to be real. I want it to be me, fully present with you." Kelly's tears came instantly. She tried to blink them back, tried to smile, tried to meet his gaze with her usual warmth, but the vulnerability in his eyes made it impossible. Her heart ached, and for the first time in decades of fame, she didn't care about cameras, ratings, or public perception. She simply wanted to hold him and make the moment last forever. The production team, informed privately, moved heaven and earth to make the wish come true. They arranged a live segment unlike any other, without scripts, without planned gags, without the usual polished routines. This was to be raw, intimate, and real, the way life sometimes demands. On the day of the show, Kelly arrived early. She was radiant as always, but there was an edge to her presence. She moved through the hallways quietly, avoiding the usual small talk, her mind on the moments ahead. When Mark walked in, he seemed smaller than usual, not in stature, but in energy. The lights hit him, cameras clicked into position, and the audience cheered, oblivious to the emotional storm behind the scenes. Kelly met him at the desk, took his hand, and for a brief moment, the cameras weren't rolling. They were just two people, holding on to each other in the face of something terrifying. The show began like any other, but the atmosphere was different. The laughter felt heavier, the jokes softer. Every glance between them carried layers of unspoken words. Mark's usual charm was still there, but now it was tinged with urgency, a desire to savor every second. During the segment about upcoming celebrity trends, Mark paused mid-laugh. He looked directly at Kelly, the teleprompter forgotten, the audience unaware. "Kelly, I just want to say something," he began. The studio grew quiet, sensing the gravity in his tone. "I've spent my whole life trying to be strong, trying to protect the people I love from fear, from worry. But the truth is, I need you, always. And if this is the last time I get to sit here with you, I want it to be perfect. Not perfect on TV, perfect for us." Kelly's hand tightened around his, her fingers trembling. Tears spilled freely now, tracing lines down her cheeks as she struggled to speak. "Mark, oh God, Mark, don't say that. Don't do this to me right now." But Mark smiled gently, brushing a stray hair from her face. "I have to, Kelly. I need to tell you, in front of everyone, how much you mean to me, how much this life has meant because of you. You're my heart, my home, my everything. And even if I don't get tomorrow, today is ours." The audience, sensing the genuine emotion, watched in stunned silence. Many were reaching for tissues, their eyes misting over at the sight of two people whose love transcended entertainment, transcended fame, and reached into the raw depths of human connection.
Each word deliberate, each pause heavy with unspoken truths. He spoke of the first time they met on the set of All My Children, the way Kelly's laughter had captured him instantly, the way her strength had guided him through life's storms. He recalled family vacations, quiet nights at home, moments of joy and sorrow they had shared. And then he made the wish, aloud, for everyone to hear. "I don't want anyone to remember me for my roles, my appearances, or my awards. I want to be remembered for love. And my final wish is this: to live every moment I have left with Kelly, to make it unforgettable, to hold her hand, to tell her I love her every day until the very end." The studio erupted in a silence so profound it felt almost sacred. Kelly's sobs filled the room, unrestrained, unedited, beautiful in their rawness. Mark reached for her, their foreheads touching, their hands clasped, the weight of the world momentarily lifting in the warmth of their shared connection. Behind the scenes, the crew cried quietly, unable to turn away from the profound human moment unfolding. They had seen countless celebrities, countless shows, countless scripted declarations, but this was different. This was life, pure and unfiltered, a testament to the enduring power of love, even in the shadow of tragedy. The episode continued, but nothing was scripted anymore. They laughed through tears, told stories from their past, reminisced about their children, joked about mishaps on set, and held each other through moments that might otherwise have been mundane. Every glance was loaded with significance. Every touch spoke volumes. After the cameras stopped rolling, Kelly held Mark close in the empty studio. The applause from the audience still echoed faintly, but for them there was only the present moment. "Thank you," Mark whispered, "for everything." Kelly shook her head, sobbing harder. "No, Mark, thank you. Thank you for loving me, for being here, for just being you."